Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking about real estate on Vancouver Island, and of course there's going to be some overlap to BC, and sometimes we might talk about things going on in the country, but here we are again, and thank you for joining us. Again, if you haven't, please like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, helps us with just growing the video and getting the word out. And, as we're about to roll into 2023, I'm not sure when you're seeing this video, we thought it'd be a great idea to talk about, different expectations and what we're seeing looking ahead to 2023.
Well, absolutely. It's been quite a turbulent, let's say, 2022 real estate market.
Yeah.
For many of us across the country, here in Victoria on Vancouver Island, with going from a super hot market to a balanced market to, arguably this is the end of the season. Winter tends to slow down. So right now, you probably have the least amount of competition for buying.
Sure.
But looking ahead into the new year, well, there's things that you need to be prepared for sure. No matter if the market balances itself off, if this inflation thing is sort of cools off and interest rates kind of come down a little bit, then you need to be prepared for that either way.
Yeah.
So, how do you see it going?
And I think you hit, a couple of things right on that I was going to talk about is looking ahead is that, at this stage, the projection is that by the or near the end of 2023, we will see interest rates start to come down.
By the end.
Right.
Okay.
And again, at this stage, it's all conjecture. We don't know for sure. But the one thing that says to me is now is the time to buy, and then going into the new year is the time to buy. And I know people think, well, wait a minute, if interest rates are higher, why would I buy? But I think the big thing is interest rates are higher, but the price of the homes has come down, and that price is forced down by the interest rates. So that tells me that when the interest rates adjust, guess what?
Yeah, you bought at a good price.
And your home price is going to appreciate accordingly, not because you did anything, but just because of the market response to the change of interest rates.
It takes less money to buy when the prices are lower as well.
Yeah.
Right. Less property transfer tax, less down payment necessary because the prices were the purchase price. If you're looking at a minimum down payment of 5%, or if you're doing 20% to avoid the CMHC fees, then there's a less upfront capital to get into real estate right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand the stress test and everything makes things a little bit different. Numbers have to work for you in order for this to happen.
Of course.
But I think that's what we're going to see going into the new year, that there may still continue to be some pressure in terms of the prices, coming down. I think we're probably in a pretty, at least here, I would say we are moving into a buyer's market. We moved from the balanced market. I think we're heading into the buyer's market kind of era now.
I think we're going to see that, yeah. How much of that consumer confidence is going to carry over after Christmas. We'll see how people feel. We got that initial shock with interest rates going up. Now we get a whole bunch of different policy changes for government.
Right.
So real estate's going to have to, the way real estate's being done is going to be adapted to the new policies.
Right.
So, might make some people hold off, I think.
Yeah.
So the sense of urgency is clearly slowed down since obviously it was a hot market. Now it's not a hot market.
Sure.
So I think people are going to take their time responsibly before making decisions.
Right.
And I think that's going to be a great thing to look forward to.
Yeah.
But if you're selling, it just means you're going to have to be more patient.
Yeah.
Patient with people, buyers, and with negotiations. That's kind of how I This is this is how we used to do it.
Right.
When it was a balanced market.
Sure. I was going to say this is very reminiscent of what we were seeing in 2015.
Yeah,
This is
before
probably
that's right.
a lot more like
Exactly.
this. The one thing I think to keep in mind with all of that, at least for Victoria, is that properties that are priced right, and have the things that people are looking for, they're still selling. Right.
Absolutely. I think what is it? Condition, price, and location are going to become really key. What does that mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when it was a hot market, people were a little bit more desperate. They would put up with something. They would accept things that they wouldn't normally put up with if they weren't under pressure to buy with the not just limited supply, but the high amount of demand. So if you didn't buy something, you feel like you're getting left out, right? So people were motivated to pay more money. So now as the market softens,
Right.
maybe that house with the unusual layout or doesn't have the right amount of rooms for you, or not the greatest location, a busy road, those properties are going to start becoming even more difficult to sell.
Right.
And those prices are going to be affected the most before the one that's like, maybe it's a cul-de-sac, quiet street.
Sure.
Everybody's yards are really nice and
Sure.
homes are really looked after.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the ideal properties to list and sell. But of course, not every property is everyone's dream home.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
So in keeping with that, I guess the other part of that is I think we're going to see more inventory coming into the new year, as people are putting, people still have to move for different reasons, so they're still putting their houses on the market and things like that. I think we're going to see more of that as far as just options available in terms of what's out there for buyers to look at.
Well, that's exactly true. The people are going to be coming on the market, houses will be coming on the market, and it's going to take longer days for them to sell or adjust their price or whatever, and that's going to be reflected in the accumulation of more inventory, right? So it's not necessarily people are going to be dumping their houses on the market for sale. I'm not saying like there's going to be a big panic and people will put their houses up. It's just that it's going to take longer, so it'll be reflected in more listings being on the market at any given time next year.
Yeah.
Is there anything you'd be watching out for to see if the market's going to trend either upwards or downwards?
Yeah, I think I'd be looking at the days on the market for listings. Starts to give you an indication of where things are heading. If it's taken 60 days for something to sell that used to take 30 days or 15 days at the height of everything, or on the flip side, if it's if it was taking 30 or 60 days and now all of a sudden we're seeing stuff go in 15 or 10 days, then we're trending in the other direction. I think the days on market is a big one in terms of telling you
which direction we're going in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I think the price will follow. Price adjustments will follow days on market.
Slowly after that.
Right.
Yeah, because it always seems to take time before, like, oh, look, it's taking a little longer. How do we adjust with that?
Right.
Yeah. I think the big thing for me, for Victoria in particular, is like the unemployment rate and what sector is it affecting.
Right.
So if it's affecting like tourism, hospitality, I'm not really quite concerned. But if it starts affecting like construction or tech, any of those kind of companies,
Or the government,
or if the government starts laying people off, then that's probably my biggest indicator. Like, oh, wait a minute, we're probably going to see bigger price adjustments. But I haven't seen any clues of layoffs like that. So there's no, I don't have a reason to panic about anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I look at it. Like, what's the indicator that really means the most to me? I just remember like back in like 2008, and then with the market crash back then, all of a sudden, all these big projects stopped. They weren't selling, and then now there's unemployment's going up, and all the pickup trucks were for sale again, the $70,000 trucks.
Right.
So that was sort of like symptoms of what happened, but everything seemed to follow unemployment. So those are sectors I'd be looking at if I was worried about it. But right now, what are we looking at? There's 11% of people this spring will hit their trigger rate, or already have hit their trigger rate for their interest rates for the mortgages.
Okay.
Which really, I was looking up earlier. Just wanted to confirm this. So about 50% of homes in Victoria don't have a mortgage on them.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a lot of, I'm going to call it right now, there's a lot of old money here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The generation before me and our grandparents, they paid their houses off.
Yeah.
Right? They're not overly leveraged. So there's very little risk to them for costs. So I don't think there's any pressure. There's not a huge amount of pressure for all of a sudden a dump of listings to come on the market to be available that it's going to be a fire sale in Victoria. I don't think so.
No, it's not.
With the employment, the kind of employment we have, government between the offices, military, hospitals, university, the college, like
IT.
Then we go to another sector, IT, and we saw it with COVID. The market didn't crash when the hotels and restaurants and all of that had to slow down and adapt, right? Market went crazy when that happened. So the last sector I'd be worried about is hospitality.
Right.
That, to be honest.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Sure.
So some ideas. I think it's just going to take, for all the realtors that came into the market in the last 2 years, and all they're used to is handling offers, now it's going to go back to working hard consistently and taking more time to sell properties, more problem solving when it comes to negotiation.
Yeah.
So it's going to go back to the old ways of doing real estate, the normal ways.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's all I could see to be prepared for or expect in the new year.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's all.
We're already out of time. There's probably more that we'll talk about on another video about the new year and what to expect in 2023. But, that's a real kind of cursory glance, I guess, at what we're going to see, we think we're going to see in 2023. But certainly, if you have any questions, feel free to put something in the comments or reach out to us directly. We're happy to answer those questions. Otherwise, thank you for joining us today. And as I said, if you haven't, please take a minute to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Helps us just grow the channel and get the word out. And if there's anything specifically you think, hey, I'd like to hear about this or hear your guys' opinion on something, feel free to put it in the comments, and we're happy to answer those as we go as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll look forward to hearing from you in the new year, of course.
See you.